It's a chilly morning today on Over the Hill Acres, but I'm going to get some work done outside because it's not raining. It's dry. Well, not dry out. The ground's a little on the wet side, but I need to move some dirt for the raised bed gardens down there. I figured today's a good day maybe to move some down there. Got to top off the beds for the winter time and get that project done. And then we'll see what else we can get into. But first, I got to run down and get some fuel for the tractor. I'll be right back. I think she's a little thirsty today. She'll probably take 7 or 8 gallons. This tank holds 9.4 gallons. I use off-road fuel when I can because it's cheaper, and I went down to get it at our local fuel supplier, mainly for the fact that I know this fuel's already been treated for winter time, so it should not gel up on me. I do have a engine heater that I plug this in when the temperatures get below 30. Just makes it easier to start. Try not to spill it, like liquid gold. I don't want to overfill it if I don't have to. I believe here diesel is, the off-road fuel is $4.06 a gallon. Right to the top. Be good to go for a while. This thing isn't really hard on fuel unless you're running it wide open, brush hogging or something like that. Tractor's all full of fuel. Let's go up and dig into the pile and see how muddy it is. If it's too muddy, I probably won't do this, but I think if I dig in far enough, we'll get some drier stuff that I can take down to the garden. Sun's shining today. A little bright out here, but it feels nice. Even though it's only 38 degrees out. I think the temperature's going to go up a little bit, get in the low 40s today. That'll be good. Had a little trouble getting through the gate there. The wire was sticking out, so I had to bend it around. I got to get those gates building on there by spring. With the back blade on this thing, it's a little tight. So I had to get off and turn the back blade and angle it so it'd fit through there and bend those wires over so I didn't catch them and rip them off. But now I'm down here at the garden. I got to pull some of these dead weeds out of here, and then we'll dump this good topsoil in this bed and level it out quick. Let me grab my gloves quick. Oh, then this isn't good. Who did this? We left the good fence pliers and the nice hammer out in the weather. We're gonna have to have a talk with those guys. Yeah, that would have been me. Let's get them put in the toolbox here. There. I'm not going to pull all this stuff, just the bigger stuff off of here. Covering this up, these are all shallow weeds. Most of them won't come back to the top. The dirt will kill them. Guess I need my better tripod. The wind just won't cooperate today. Will probably be enough for that bed. I'll just get it spread out here a little. Good topsoil, composted, got chicken manure in there, grass clippings, leaves. Need to get to the hardware and get some more lumber here soon and get some more beds built. Hopefully I can get it done before we get the major snow for the year. Composted topsoil It's better than any fertilizer you can buy. I don't care what you say. Not to mention, it's not artificial. So you're not putting all those chemicals back into your food. Beautiful. Looking good. Looking good. Can't wait till spring now. Oh, but I got so much work to get done before then. That's the easy bed. The other one, I'm going to have to shovel most of it off of the bucket. So much easier and quicker. There was a time that I would have had to do that with a lawnmower and a little yard cart and shovel it all in, bring it down here and shovel it off. That would have took probably 4 or 5 loads just to do what I just did with one bucket. It's nice to have a tractor now. I'll get this other bed done and then I'll be back with you. I got both of these 2 beds done. They're ready to go for spring. I need to get building the other 4 or 5 that I want to get in here for spring. So hopefully I can get them done in the next couple weeks. But next project I believe down here will be to come down here and trim up these raspberry and blackberry bushes. They're getting out of hand. They need cut back. They've taken up this whole walkway between these couple beds. I got to prune these all the way back to here and clean them up a little bit. They produced really well this year. Most of them are thornless bushes, so it won't be a tough job. There's 1 or 2 in there I think that have thorns on them, but they're not so bad. Just prune them up and get them out of here. The raspberries seem to spread like wildfire down here, which is not a bad thing because I'll always have raspberries. I can transplant some of these to a different area later. But I kind of like having these here because they make a nice wind block on the garden beds and help keep the rest of the plants from getting knocked over. This is why I need to get the gates on this garden. My little apple tree, I don't know if it'll come back or not, but we had a buck get in here, just a small one must be, and rub this thing raw. So that tree will probably end up dying. I'll replace it in the spring probably. I kind of wanted a fruit tree or 2 down here. My mistake by not getting the gates built in time. The rest of it's fenced off, so we'll get working on them gates also. Got quite a bit to do down here, but this is my retirement hobby. I love tinkering in the garden, so after this summer, I'll have plenty of time to work on it. Well, I think I'm done working outside for a little while. It got darn chilly out here. It's still only like 39 degrees out. The wind is pretty darn brisk. I got a few things done out there. The garden is what I wanted to mainly focus on for a little bit. I got those beds taken care of and they're all ready to go. So I think I'll be heading back inside here shortly and doing a few projects in there. But first I wanted to talk to you a little bit about TYM. I do not have a TYM tractor. I have a McCormick X145. It's made by a company called Argo out of Italy, but they are partnered with TYM. That tractor is identical to a TYM model of that version. They use the same parts and everything. It's just rebranded under a different name. So when I get parts for this tractor, of course, they come packaged from TYM. Or Branson, believe it or not, but because there's still another name that's packaged under there, and all 3 of them tractors, TYM, McCormick, Branson, all tractors are identical. They just changed the paint colors and slapped some different stickers on them. So what I wanted to talk about for just a couple minutes is that there's been a lot of slack for TYM on Facebook and YouTube lately, about getting parts and things like that. Now, this is my own personal opinion. I have not had any issues getting parts for this tractor at this time. I've had some major work done. I ended up putting a new differential in the front of this thing twice, and no, it was not to do anything with the factory or Branson, TYM, McCormick, anything. It was my own fault. I'll get into that in just a second. So, parts are available for these tractors. You have to look at it this way. There are thousands of these tractors sold out there. No, not every person is going to have a flawless experience. There will be some people that have negative experiences, granted. I have not had to send this to a shop. That is another thing that kind of puts me out of the realm of some of these other people. All these other people have shops do their work. Unless it's electronic, I am capable of doing anything on this tractor, from complete teardown on this motor to working on the rear ends to splitting it and doing internal stuff. So I have an edge up on some of these people. It does not have to go to a dealer to get this work done. If it was under warranty, it'd be going to a dealer. But seeing as it's not, I bought it used with 300 hours on it. So I opt to do the work myself unless I don't have the time or it's just beyond the scope of what I want to do. So that's another thing. Dealers, a lot of these people that are having problems getting parts, their tractor is sitting at a dealer. So I would be more inclined to think you have a dealer that is not that reputable or doesn't care that much about you as a customer. Now, a lot of people get on here and say, buy green, buy blue, buy whatever. I am not a color specific or brand specific tractor person. They all make a good tractor out there. It all depends on how you treat them. Now, a lot of people have front end issues with these like TYMs and Bransons and stuff like that, and they complain that the front ends aren't strong enough. Well, they're right. They're not strong enough for what those tractors can lift. Now, you don't hear much about like John Deere and Kubota having issues with their front ends because their lift capacities are way under these tractors. So that has to reflect back on the operator. You need to know the limits of your tractor. You need to use them wisely. They will pick up way more than what these front ends will handle. So yes, you can get away with it. That's up to you to take the chance to do it. Me, myself, that's why I ended up putting 2 differentials in this thing, because I was skidding logs out and lifting logs that are way too heavy for this tractor to lift. I ended up taking a differential out once, and then when I reinstalled it, there were some pins missing that I did not see, and I had to put them in on the second round and haven't had a bit of issue with it since. So I take the blame on the whole front end deals. I've also had to put front bearings in this tractor because I was picking up stuff that was way too heavy for this tractor. I don't have the specs on hand right now to give you, and we will get into that some other time. I'll have all the specs of lifting capabilities of these tractors, what it'll actually lift, and what it's rated to lift. Now, my opinion to you, if you are a brand new tractor owner and you have never had a tractor before, if you buy something other than like a John Deere or a Kubota, talk to other people that have these tractors, have them show you what they can lift and what they can't lift, and really talk to them and sit down and have them explain to you the physics of lifting stuff that's too heavy and what it'll do to the front of your tractor. I don't mind having to put a wheel bearing in every now and then, or a seal in the front end. I use this tractor for what it's used for. A lot of people are never going to get to the rated capacity of their tractors when they're out there. Homeowners that only have a few acres of land that have tractors and stuff will never put their tractor through what I put this through. No, it's not a big tractor, but I've had to deal with this kind of stuff all my life. I've grown up working on farms. I've driven just about every make and model of tractor, high lift, front end loader, excavator that you can think of. I have the experience, so I know what I can and can't do with these tractors, these front end loaders, and what they'll do to them. It's a learning curve, and it can be an expensive learning curve. So just beware. If you want to be a little more sure that you're not going to take the front end out on something, if you're just a homeowner and buying a smaller tractor, go with a John Deere or a Kubota, because they will not allow you to lift more than what the tractor can handle. Yes, you can still take out the front ends and stuff, but they are more user friendly when it comes to that point. So I just wanted to bring that up there, that it's not all laying on TYM's shoulders. Yes, I'm sure there's some issues down the line with their corporate end and stuff, and some people are having a few issues getting parts, but for the majority of everybody, parts are readily available. Your dealer, if they're a good dealer, will get you the parts when needed, and it may take a few days to a week or two sometimes to get different parts in depending on what you broke. But if you're doing this on your own and fixing your own stuff, you have the option to go around to different dealers, parts places, the internet, and find these parts just like they do. Problem being is when you go to a dealer, your tractor's not the only one they're working on. So sometimes when it gets busy, things get shuffled to the side, people forget to order things, you start to look up a part and you get sidetracked. So a lot of this stuff can be put back on the dealer's shoulders. So a lot to think about there. There's just some different things you need to think about when you do this kind of stuff. And to be able to make your experience better, I suggest that you learn how to work on your own equipment. Because the more you can work on your own equipment, the less you have to rely on that middleman, which is the dealer. You can bypass him, get your own parts, fix it. You're not waiting on different things. They're not that tough. The newer stuff with all electronics, now you're talking a whole different ball game. I won't even get into that because I know nothing about them. But as for the mechanical part of the tractors, if you are smart enough to run a tractor and to do work with one and you get proficient with it, you are smart enough to learn how to fix it. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go in the house and have some lunch. Corinda made some homemade chicken and biscuits the other day. Last night, matter of fact, that's what I had for supper, and that sounds like it'd be excellent for lunch today. So I'm going to go in and grab a bite to eat. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day and a good weekend. Thanksgiving's coming. Can't wait for that. Turkey's one of my favorite meals, the Thanksgiving dinner. You all have a good night tonight, great weekend, and we'll talk to you a little later. God bless.